Let me introduce myself. My name is Rolas Simarmata. My NIM is 1803-08046. I take a part agricultural engineering of North Sumatra University.
This part of the test will measure your speaking ability. It will last around 20 to 30 minutes. You will answer 4 questions. The first question will be about a familiar topic. The other 3 will be about short conversations, lectures, and reading passages. You can read and hear the lectures and paragraphs only once. You will see the time available for preparing the responses as well as the time to give your response on the bottom side of the screen. You have to stay within those time limits. Speaking Task 1. You will be asked a question about a familiar topic. You will then have 15 seconds to prepare your response, and 45 seconds to speak. Some people support online teaching, saying that in the modern society it is the right way to teach kids. Do you agree or disagree? Include details and examples when stating your opinion. Prepare your response after the beep. Start speaking after the beep.
Yes, I agree. In the modern society, they have complete facilities that they use details. Everybody have Wi-Fi and Android phone, so they are easier to look for knowledge with connecting internet. Example, animation learning kits from YouTube, song for kids, reading book for kids.
Speaking Task 2. You will read a short paragraph and then listen to a conversation between 2 people. You will have 50 seconds to read the paragraph. After, you will get a question about what you read and heard. You will have 30 seconds to prepare your response and then 60 seconds to give it. You have 50 seconds to read. Start reading after the beep. Now listen to the conversation between 2 people. It is great what they are planning with the change of the schedule, don't you think?
I don't. Actually, I think they are trying to trick us.
Why do you say that?
Well, the classes are not that full. They mention courses that are taken by the majority of the students. They must be referring to general psychology. I have it. The Stevens Hall where the classes are held is almost filled to capacity, but there are always several seats left.
So why do you think they are doing this?
Well, the professors complained that their salaries are low. I think the administration decided to give them extra classes in order to justify the pay raise to the Board of Trustees.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And I don't buy the story that this is done so that we can relax more.
I will actually welcome the change. Taking some classes on Friday in order to have more free time during the other days is fine by me.
Well, it's not something I will like. I really want to continue to have my extended weekend. Some classes will be moved on Friday without my choice. I hate that I will lose that free day.
I don't think it will be that bad. Maybe you will enjoy those free hours during the weekdays.
We shall see, but I am convinced that I will not be okay with this change.
The female student talks about the recent change in the schedule of the lectures. Say what is her opinion and why she has it. Prepare your response after the beep. Start speaking after the beep.
She doesn't agree with the changing of schedule because it's necessary for professors to increase the salary from the university. She lost her free day on Friday because on Friday used for lecture and doesn't help her for private.
Speaking task 3. You will read a short paragraph about an academic topic, then listen to a lecture about it. You will have 50 seconds to read the paragraph. After, you will get a question about what you read and heard. You will have 30 seconds to prepare your response and then 60 seconds to give it. You have 50 seconds to read. Start reading after the beep. Now listen to the lecture.
Hibernation is a process which is associated with warm-blooded animals, and it's something that helps them survive the cold winter months. Let's use bears as our example for this. Just like other warm-blooded animals, bears need to maintain their own internal body temperature, and they need a lot of energy for this. To get this energy, they need to eat a lot of food. But during winter, food is scarce. So the bear would simply lower its breathing, lower its heart rate, which would lower the metabolism, and this in turn would lower the body temperature. So the bear would need less energy in order to survive. and survival is just something that would not happen if the bear would not go into this process. Hibernation is something which can last anywhere from several days all the way to several months. It depends on the species and on the environment in which this species finds itself. Before an animal starts hibernating, it needs to prepare itself. It needs to consume a lot of food because even though its energy requirements will be lower, it will still have to maintain some bodily functions in order to live.
The lecture is about hibernation. Explain why do animals hibernate as well as how they achieve this state. Use points and examples from the lecture. Prepare your response after the beep. Start speaking after the beep.
Animals hibernate as well as in the winter season. They do it to survive their life. They eat much food to make temperature of their body warm. They don't do activities so they spend a little energy. It can do for day by day or month to month as long the winter season because they are difficult to find food. It's simple: frog, ladybug, black bear, snake.
You will listen to a lecture about an academic topic. After, you will get a question about what you heard. You will have 20 seconds to prepare your response and then 60 seconds to give it. Now listen to the lecture.
A monopoly is a company that is the only provider of a good or a service. This gives it a tremendous competitive advantage over the other companies that want to break into the market. Some companies become monopolies through vertical integration. Basically, they control the entire supply chain, all the way from getting the raw goods to production to retail to selling the product. Others use horizontal integration, which means that they buy up all of their competitors until they are the only ones left. No matter how we get to a monopoly, they are bad. The number one reason they are bad is because of price fixing. Simply put, because they are the only ones on the market, they can decide at what price to sell a given good or a service. And they can charge you several times more compared to the price you would pay if there were other companies providing the same thing. A monopoly can also decide to give you an inferior product. The product will have a declining quality. For example, let's talk about a chocolate factory. Let's say this chocolate factory is the only one who can sell it to us. Now they can simply decide to put less cocoa and less milk over time, and because you cannot go somewhere else to buy a chocolate, you will simply take this inferior product, this product which will become worse and worse over time. Another thing that happens when you stop having competitors is that you stop innovating. So we see a loss of innovation. A monopoly is simply not desirable.
Explain why monopolies are not a good thing for the economy. Use points and examples from the lecture. Prepare your response after the beep. Start speaking after the beep. This part of the test will measure your speaking ability. It will last around 20 to 30 minutes. You will answer 4 questions. The first question will be about a familiar topic. The other 3 will be about short conversations, lectures, and reading passages. You can read and hear the lectures and paragraphs only once. You will see the time available for preparing the responses as well as the time to give your response on the bottom side of the screen. You have to stay within those time limits. Speaking Task 1. You will be asked a question about a familiar topic. You will then have 15 seconds to prepare your response, and 45 seconds to speak. Do you agree or disagree with the following statement? Consumption of beef is a major contributor to global warming, so we should limit the amount we eat as much as possible. Prepare your response after the beep. Start speaking after the beep.
I agree with the statement that consumption of beef in global warming is not a necessity but a luxury. The luxury of consuming beef in global warming must limit its production because the supply from farmers on global warming in the market is increasingly expensive. So, buying beef that doesn't cause global warming must be limited in its production for future needs.
Speaking Task 2. You will read a short paragraph and then listen to a conversation between 2 people. You will have 50 seconds to read the paragraph. After, you will get a question about what you read and heard. You will have 30 seconds to prepare your response and then 60 seconds to give it. You have 50 seconds to read. Start reading after the beep. Now listen to the conversation between two people.
Don't you think it's great what the university is planning to implement?
Yeah, I think it's awesome. They are right when they say that this will give us more opportunities.
I think so too. It will really be nice to follow the classes from the comfort of my room.
Or from a park. This really allows us to have a lot of options. You just need an internet connection. I have a portable modem. I can now take part in the class from anywhere I want.
It's also good that we can submit our homework and that we can get class participation points.
That it is. I think it will work just fine. Basically, there is no reason why anybody would be forced to go in person. I am really pleasantly surprised. I didn't know that the university will go this far. This truly is something great for students. I am glad they are finally doing something that has only positives for us.
Well, do you think it will all be positive?
I mean, the grades are definitely going to go down. This will make procrastination much easier. I know plenty of guys that will probably just turn on the laptop and go for a walk. They will not get very far in terms of their GPA.
That's true. I know plenty of people like that as well.
Yeah, but that is not the university's problem, in my opinion. They have given us the choice, and it is now up to us to make it work. We are all adults. We can't depend on the uni to act like a parent that forces us to do things.
What does the male student think about the online classes? Prepare your response after the beep. Start speaking after the beep.
The more student think is good and I will give us more opportunities. He just needs to have his internet connection on his portable modem. He can also take lessons anywhere. He can also submit assignment online. So students can delay working on assignment more. They also do a bad job of conducting online classes by turning on their laptops and doing other activities so they don't listen to the lessons.
Speaking Task 3. You will read a short paragraph about an academic topic, then listen to a lecture about it. You will have 50 seconds to read the paragraph. After, you will get a question about what you read and heard. You will have 30 seconds to prepare your response and then 60 seconds to give it. You have 50 seconds to read. Start reading after the beep. Now listen to the lecture.
Today we will be talking about corporate responsibility and how it can benefit a company. We can distinguish 4 types of them: philanthropy, environmental conservation, diversity, and labor practices and volunteerism. Today we will talk only about the first 2. Philanthropy allows a company to prosper beyond its current limitations. By improving the living standards of people, they are creating new customers for the future. Let's take Microsoft, for example. They are engaged in many philanthropic actions in the developing world. They are improving their education and they are giving them access to technology. Microsoft knows that this is creating future customers who will use their products. Environmental conservation is a big one. A lot of companies nowadays follow the eco-friendly policies. In many cases, this is just a marketing campaign, and it tends to be quite successful for the companies. Having a green label on your products gives you access to more customers and also allows you to put a higher price on your products. Even though corporate responsibility should be only beneficial for the people who need help, it is a way for companies to invest in their own future and prosperity.
What are the types of corporate responsibility that the professor talks about? Use points and examples from the lecture. Prepare your response after the beep. Start speaking after the beep.
The professor talked about 2 types of corporate responsibility. 1. Philanthropy enables companies to grow beyond limitation and raise people's standards of living. Example, Microsoft. Microsoft is doing a lot of philanthropic action in developing countries to improve their education and provide access to technology to create future customers who use their products. 2. Environmental protection allows the company as a marketing tool that gives you more access to customers and allow to the choose higher price for your products.
You will listen to a lecture about an academic topic. After, you will get a question about what you heard. You will have 20 seconds to prepare your response and then 60 seconds to give it. Now listen to the lecture.
The purpose of sustainable design is to reduce the negative impact on our environment and at the same time improve the living conditions of people. The way in which this is done is by reducing waste, eliminating carbon emissions, and creating a healthy environment. One way in which this is achieved is by using the principles of the circular economy. Instead of just extracting resources, using them, and then discarding them, we can try to reuse those resources again. Basically, to recycle the waste that is created. By doing this, we not only eliminate that waste, but we reduce the extraction of new raw materials such as wood and minerals. An extension of the circular economy is the sharing economy. Think of car sharing apps. The current practice of private car ownership is anything but sustainable. But by having several people share one car, we are stepping out of a pattern that is wasteful. Another way in which we can be more sustainable is by adopting eco-friendly designs. We would find simple new ways to meet our needs. Let's say that we want to cool our apartment in the summer heat. Nowadays, what we would need to do is to turn on the air conditioner. This is such a waste of energy. But If we lived in an apartment building that is constructed in such a way that it is cooled naturally, then this would satisfy our needs and it would not be at the expense of the environment. Implementation of sustainable designs in all facets of our lives is the future.
What are the principles and characteristics of sustainable design? Include points and examples from the lecture. Prepare your response after the beep. Start speaking after the beep.
Sustainable design principles to improve people's living conditions by reducing waste, eliminating carbon emissions, and creating an healthy environment. For its characteristic, we don't use new resources, but we try to reuse these resources. Example, the cost-sharing economy. Another way to sustainable design in with economy-friendly design. A simple way to meet our needs is to cool the apartment space in summer by turning on the air conditioner would be a waste of energy. However, it's better to design an apartment with naturally cold.